Well, hey, I'm back outside enjoying this beautiful day. And I was sitting around thinking, as I probably to my husband's chagrin sometimes, I wonder if people really know where the Republicans got the elephant to symbolize their party and where the Democrats got the donkey to symbolize their party. So I thought, why not do a quick little lesson as we're in this election season? You will be seeing elephants and donkeys, and you know that Republicans are denoted by red, the Democrats are denoted by blue. And so, being a neutral party here on Vena Teaches, you'll notice that my background on the lesson slide is purple because that's a mixture between the two. So, just for you to know, if you are watching the election returns on Tuesday night, or any of the pundits before, they're going to be throwing maps up there. And if they say a blue state or they say a red state, what they mean by blue state is that they feel like that state is going to be uh, going to vote for the Democrat candidate. Okay, that would be Joe Biden. If they say it's a red state, then that would be a state that is denoting voting for Donald Trump or the Republican Party. So those are your two, your red and your blue, and they're going to be showing maps all night long. All night long. And some maps are going to be correct, and some maps are not going to be correct. Now, tomorrow night, what we'll do on Vena Teaches is I'm going to show you a website to go to that is unbiased. Do you know what that means? What unbiased means is it's not for the Republican or the Democrat. It shows you actual polling data that is from one different poll and another. They don't force you to believe it. They actually can give you a blank electoral map, and with the press of your finger, you can change the state to red or blue or light blue, pink. Is it leaning to Canada? Ooh, that's going to be so much fun tomorrow. That is what we're going to be doing on Monday, is looking at how to read an electoral map. But let's figure out about this elephant and the donkey. Why are these animals the symbols of the different parties? You could say it's because they're all a circus. Maybe so. Some days, y'all. The donkey for the Democrats. Now, let's talk about the donkey for the Democrats. This is a great story. Andrew Jackson of the War of 1812 fame, he's also known as Old Hickory. He is a Tennessee man, pulled himself up by his own bootstraps. Some people either love Andrew Jackson, some people don't love Andrew Jackson. Unfortunately, his name is mixed in there with the Trail of Tears and the treatment of the Native Americans, which, we have a lot to learn about that. But when he ran for president in 1828, he was what you might call a populist, a people's president. Let the people decide. And so, with that, his opponents felt that he was stubborn and that he was unmovable and that nothing fazed him. This is what I stand for, and this is what I'm doing. Now, we all respect that, right? But his opponents were like, you know what? That Andrew Jackson, he's a jackass. I know this is a kid show, but hey, it is what it is. So they called him a jackass. Well, we know that a jackass is also a donkey. Okay? We know that. So instead of, now you got to love this story, instead of getting his feelings hurt and saying, I can't believe they call me a jackass. That is so ugly. I'm hurt. He said, I like it. You want to see a jackass? You got yourself a jackass. So he turns his election material and he puts a picture of a donkey on it. Now, how great is that? People call us these names And we can either get down in the dumps, down in the molly grubs. We can allow people to say things about us and us say, well, gosh, I guess we are, and get upset or get our feelings, or we can turn it around. Who would have ever thought? Now, he's the first Democrat to be elected to office. Now, listen to me. There was a political party called the Democratic Republicans. I call them Dem Repubs. The Democratic Republicans, that's both. Okay, that's not just the Democrats. That's not just the Republicans. It was the Democratic Republicans, mainly in the South, mainly agrarian. And then you had the Federalists, which were pretty much up north, mixed in. That's the party of John Adams, Alexander Hamilton, and then your Democratic Republicans were the party of Jefferson and Madison. But anyway, so he takes that jackass, turns it into a donkey, and he makes it stick. So now the Democrats are denoted by a donkey, and that is what you'll see. Notice, very patriotic. It has the red, the blue, has the stars. So that would be your Democrats. And then this is kind of an iconic old political cartoon. Political cartoons didn't just start. They've been around a while. And that is Andrew Jackson's head on the donkey. Okay, on the donkey. That is from, let's see, 1929. Okay, so anyway, that is how the donkey came for the Democrats. Now, the elephant for the Republicans, a little bit more convoluted story. Somebody, when Lincoln ran for president, Lincoln ran in 1860 and again in 1864. Now, in 1860, he was the first Republican to ever be elected to office, because he in 1856 James Buchanan ran, and he ran as a Democrat candidate, not as a Republican candidate. And so when Lincoln ran against Stephen Douglas in 1860, he ran as the Republican and he won. So there were some things, playbills or some election bills that had the elephant on it, but that's not really when all this started. When all this started is when a very famous political cartoonist named Thomas Nast came on the scene. And he, really, there was nothing sacred. He'll do this for anybody. But what he did was, during the Civil War and then after the Civil War, a president named Ulysses S. Grant, who had been the general of the Union forces, the final general in charge of everything, ran for president. Well, he won 2 terms. Well, people were saying that he might want to go for a 3rd term, and all of that caused him to write some political cartoons. And on this cartoon, he has a donkey in sheep's clothing, and then he has an elephant on the side and something like the Republican Party written on it. And so that stuck. So the elephant sticks. Other people were talking about the elephant in the room. And, another term for an elephant, or seeing the elephant, is when the soldiers were in combat. That is what they called seeing action in combat, is here comes the elephant. We saw the elephant. That's just a little side item. I like to call that a little land yap, a little Everett news nugget. But so that's what sticks. The elephant for the Republicans. And then here is a copy of that particular political cartoon. If you see right here, I'm just kind of moving my mouse. There's the Republican. That says the Republican Party. And then that is Ulysses S. Grant and people trying to save the Democrats and everything else. So anyway, this is just for you to learn something new. Remember, red, Republican, elephant; blue, Democrats; donkey. And then that should give you enough to get you through tomorrow when we get to see this awesome electoral map. And just wait, because electoral maps are fun to play with. I will tell you, it's election time, and I love election time. I love to teach about the election. So I hope you have a good night. I hope you've learned something new, and I'll see you tomorrow.